This is Samuel Onuha, 600,000 followers, a 50 million mansion, private jets, coaching program selling for over $100,000. The image, flawless, the reality, cocaine, deception, handcuffs in a foreign land. On February 10th, 2025, he didn't wake up to views, he woke up to sirens. This is what happens when the dream becomes the trap. You watching this right now, if you've ever chased success, scrolled past the luxury boats that made you question your own life, or thought, why not me? This is the story for you. Because the real cost of the Dubai dream is not just financial, it's everything. It starts with a mansion, a Rolex, a promise, and a perfectly filtered photo. From outside, Samuel was everything Gen Z's admired. Self-made, young, dripping in designer, this was all proof that hustle worked. But beneath the filters, something didn't add up. His fashion brand barely made $2 million a year, yet he lived as if he had 50 million lying somewhere in the bank. How does a broke village kid end up teaching you wealth? You're not going to like the answer. Every single empire has its origin story. The Samuel Onuha's, it doesn't begin in a mansion or a marketing funnel. It begins in a village so small, Google barely knows it exists. Born in 1998 in northern Netherlands, Samuel Onuha Johan Onuha entered a tiny Dutch village world, quiet, conservative, cold. His father, Nigerian. His mother, the town, predominantly white, quiet, conservative, and cold. By the age of 5, his parents' marriage collapsed. His mother was left to raise 2 sons, Samuel and Reuben, alone. They didn't come from money, they came from survival. And in a town like this, survival was not glamorous, it was silence, it was being overlooked. School was no escape. Samuel did not fit in the mold. Not culturally, not mentally, not even financially. In his own words, I hated school so much that after my first success, I dropped out. Best decision I ever made. But let's rewind, because before he dropped out, before the mansions and the mugshots, there was a kid obsessed with one word, more. In 2016, at 18 years old, he stumbled across a YouTube video on dropshipping, an algorithm-fed rabbit hole that promised escape. Like many of you watching this right now, he clicked. Then he clicked again. Then clicked until clicking turned into selling. From the comfort of his bedroom, Samuel launched his first Shopify store. No investors, no fancy setup, just a laptop and a burning need to prove everyone wrong. Because here's the truth that social media won't tell you. Samuel's first shows failed. Bad suppliers, clunky websites, refund to request he couldn't handle. He didn't just find success, he built it in the dark alone. Every crash taught him something. Every refund sharpened his edge, and every late night reinforced a belief. The world doesn't reward the smartest, it rewards the boldest. And bold is exactly what Samuel became. He wasn't just trying to sell trousers, he was trying to punch his way out of invisibility, and that is why his story resonated. Because deep down, who doesn't want to prove them all wrong? But here's where the story begins to twist. The hunger for more, it doesn't just appear when you win. In fact, it gets louder. Samuel's first success didn't fulfill him, it haunted him. Because once he proved it was possible, he became terrified of losing it. He dropped out of school for good. Not for a diploma, not for a gap year, for Icon Amsterdam. But that brand, that success, that came next. And it came at a price. What do you do when you go from nothing to something overnight? And what happens when something is not enough anymore? It wasn't magic, it was a midnight hustle. And it started with a pair of pants. In October 2018, 20-year-old Samuel Onuha turned his childhood bedroom into the headquarters of a fashion brand. The idea was absurdly simple. Create trousers that fit guys with muscle. The market was screaming, I hit the gym 5 times a week. Why do I still have to dress like a malnourished accountant? Samuel saw the gap, and like most of us, he built the bridge. He wasn't just selling clothes, he was selling confidence, masculinity, a lifestyle. And in that cluttered world of fast fashion rejects, Icon stood out, tailored, polished, premium. Most people look at clothes and see fabric. Samuel saw leverage. Because the moment those first hundreds came in, he knew This was not just e-commerce, this was an escape velocity. By early 2019, Icon was not just growing, it was exploding. Samuel's secret weapon, he didn't just market the clothes, he wore them, lived them, became the brand. Instagram, TikTok, paid influencers, user-generated content, all synced with clockwork precision. And when kickboxing world champion Rico Verhoeven was spotted in Icon gear, Samuel's mom literally cried. "That's when I knew my son had made it," she later said. In under 1 year, Icon Amsterdam had done what few brands ever do: go from bedroom to buzzword. But with success came the shadows. It arrived without warning: a government letter, a fine, maybe taxes, maybe licenses. No one knows for sure. This was not a scummy dropshipping teen anymore. This was a CEO with heat stuck on his back. And heat breeds paranoia. After that fine, Samuel would later admit paranoia became his #1 motivation. He didn't retreat, he didn't double down. Samuel started with better packaging, faster logistics, cleaner branding. He even brought in Ruben, his younger brother, not just as family support, but as COO material. That is Chief Operations Officer. Because now this was a war. By 2020, Icon had sold over 100,000 pairs of trousers. 40% of buyers came back. That is unheard of in fashion retail. They weren't just buying pants, they were buying identity. And for Samuel, the identity came with proof. "This brand made me rich. If I can do it, you can do it too." Which sounds inspirational until you ask exactly how rich and from what exactly. Because right when the brand hits its peak, Samuel made a decision that will change everything. He left the country that made him and flew straight into the mirage. By late 2022, Samuel Onuha had outgrown his home country. The Netherlands gave him his roots, but Dubai, that is where he believed his future was. No income tax, no cap on ambition, no ceiling on lifestyle. He packed up Icon Amsterdam, convinced his brother to go all in, and moved into a beachfront palace on Palm Jumeirah, a man-made island shaped like a palm tree. Built entirely for billionaires, with a private beach and a $70,000 a month lease. Because that's what Dubai offers, a stage, but the real question is, are you building or are you performing? This wasn't just real estate, it was set design. Every chandelier, every drone shot, every Rolls-Royce delivery was a content moment. This is not flexing, it's marketing, and it worked. His follower count exploded, 600,000 followers on Instagram, viral TikToks, daily DMs from kids begging for mentorship. He'd become a brand of a man, not just a businessman. With Ruben managing operations as COO, Samuel focused on optics, influence, personal branding, mentorship funnels. Together, they created a feedback loop: flex online, sell the dream, use the money to buy bigger flexes, repeat. And when your identity is built on perfection, mistakes are no longer lessons, they are liabilities. Because here's the catch: Dubai is a city of contrast. Luxury on the outside, low on the inside. A playground for the rich, but prison if you step out of line. 0% income tax, 100% asset forfeiture if arrested, up to 25 years of trafficking, no jury trials, only judges. Dubai is not Vegas, neither is it Nairobi. There's no what happens here stays here. If you mess up, there's no escape. But Samuel wasn't worried. He had a system. He told his followers the program was exclusive and only the hungriest could get in. Behind the scenes, some were paying over $100,000 just to learn from him. And whether they got results, that was not the point. They weren't buying the knowledge, they were buying hope. They were buying his lifestyle. But hope is a dangerous currency, because when the product becomes the person, you can't afford a single crack in the image. And for Samuel, those cracks were starting to form. Because what do you do when the dream you're selling starts falling apart behind the scenes? And what happens when the wrong people start paying attention? The parties were louder, the Instagram stories flashier, the DMs from followers more disparate. But behind the filters and the Ferraris, something was off. Samuel Onuha's empire wasn't just built on fabric, it was held together by perception. And that perception was starting to shake. In July 2023, OK magazine ran a glowing profile. Samuel was now Europe's most iconic fashion mogul, a self-made millionaire who'd sold over 500,000 trousers. But here's what the article didn't say. It was like sponsored PR. No audited financials were provided, and the real numbers told a different story. Icon Amsterdam's official filings in the Netherlands showed nowhere near $30 million in annual revenue. So, where was the money coming from? You watching this right now, if a brand says it's making $25 million a year, ask, where's the proof? Where's the audit? Where's the team? Because in Icon Amsterdam's case, there were none. Then came the flood of complaints, delayed shipments, poor return handling, unexpected custom charges, customer service missing in action. The kind of red flags that get buried under Gucci filters and viral success threads. But buried doesn't mean gone. Here's what was really happening. Samuel's fashion brand wasn't just funding his lifestyle, the lifestyle was funding the brand. Through what? His coaching program, Millionaire Commerce. High ticket, high pressure, high return. For Samuel, coaching became the cash cow, and the Icon Amsterdam, it became the aesthetic that made it sell. The car was not transport, the mansion wasn't shelter, and they were all props in the funnel. You are never buying his knowledge, you are buying a shortcut, and shortcuts have consequences. By late 2023, something changed. The videos kept coming, but the energy didn't match. Behind the scenes, the teams were burning out, customer complaints were mounting, the numbers weren't hitting. Samuel's brand was bleeding money, and nobody wanted to talk about it. Why? Because when the dream breaks, the illusion breaks, and when your income depends on an illusion, the truth becomes the biggest threat. And in Dubai, where everyone is hustling, the streets talk. Reports of unpaid service providers, parties with exotic guests that didn't end well, rumors of shady side deals. If you keep faking it long enough, you'll either make it or you will owe someone real. And Samuel, he was about to owe everything. Because once the cracks appear, the fall is not gradual, it's instant. And in a city like Dubai, you don't get a warning shot, you just get caught. February 10th, 2025. The house was quiet, the marble floors cold, the view immaculate. Palm Jumeirah never looked more peaceful, but inside Samuel Onuha's mansion, that peace was about to vanish forever. At 6:47 a.m., Dubai police executed one of the most high-profile drug raids of the year. The target, a 25-year-old Dutch-Nigerian entrepreneur with 600,000 followers, a fashion CEO turned influencer turned guru. And his brother, Ruben Onuha, 23, right-hand man, COO. The quieter one, but not innocent. Dubai CID had been watching for months. The parties, the travels, the spending, the whisper network. But it wasn't just business inconsistency or luxury flaunting. It was the tip-off from a guest at a private party. Someone who didn't get paid, someone angry enough to tell the police everything. That one call triggered a storm. They found 250 kilograms of cocaine with estimated street value of $60 million. Hidden compartments, encrypted phones, logistic files connecting 3 continents, Dubai to Amsterdam, Europe to Icon Amsterdam, now rumored to be a front. This wasn't a misunderstanding, this was a network. 25 years minimum, no bail, full asset seizure, mandatory deportation if you survive prison. The final post on Samuel's feed, you're one risk away from changing your life. He wasn't wrong, it just changed him in a way he never expected. From penthouse views to concrete blocks, from champagne showers to fluorescent ceilings, in a matter of minutes, Samuel Onuha went from millionaire mentor to a prisoner in the UAE criminal system. And you watching this right now, let that sink in. There are no second takes in Dubai, no influencer discounts, no get out of jail free codes, just the law and the silence. At first, nobody noticed, no announcement, no farewell post, just digital silence. Then the comments started piling up. Where is Samuel? Why is the mentorship portal offline? Why haven't I heard back? By mid-March, the Dutch newspaper The Telegraph confirmed it. Samuel and Ruben Onuha had been officially charged with drug trafficking in the United Arab Emirates. Coaching students were left with unanswered emails. TikTok speculated, Reddit investigated, and across social media, the dream Samuel had been selling began to unravel. But here's where the story turns inward, because when your brand is tied to your persona and that persona is sitting in a Dubai detention center, silence becomes deafening. Samuel's mentorship programs vanished, his public presence disappeared, and the followers who once saw him as the blueprint, now they were left with questions. And for Icon Amsterdam, the brand remains operational, orders are still being processed, and the store is still live. But the face behind it, gone. And in the influencer world, disappearance is not neutral, it's narrative collapse. Because when the figurehead falls, it's not just a scandal, it's a vacuum. But the story was not over, because as Samuel faced a potential 25-year sentence, something unexpected happened. One brother walked free. On May 9th, 2025, nearly 3 months after the raid, a report by Stankevicius.co stunned everyone. No court statement, no legal explanation, and a million unanswered questions. Was it a temporary release or was it cleared? The records sealed. Dubai authorities silent. Dutch officials no comment. And in that silence, the theories began to multiply. Was Ruben the logistics guy and therefore less guilty? Did he cut a deal? Was he bait? One fact remains. As of July 2025, Samuel is still in detention. No trial, no bail, no press access, just shadows. Ruben nowhere to be seen. Not back in Europe, not online, not even in Icon Amsterdam's offices. He vanished without a word. You watching this right now, you followed someone who looked like they had all the answers. But what if the person they became was never the person you were following? What if the truth didn't vanish? It was never there to begin with. Because this was not just a fall from grace, it was demolition of identity, of performance, of trust. And when the mask disappears, the lie doesn't die, it multiplies. So, what happens when the person you trusted for answers disappears? When the success you envied turns out to be performance, and when the dream you were chasing never existed in the first place? This is not just about Samuel, it's about you. Because in the world we've built, it's not the smartest people who rise, it's the best performers. And when the performance becomes proof, we all become complicit. You've probably seen the signs. The ones that say, click here to change your life. Mentorship slots closing. Only 2 spots left. But here's the uncomfortable truth. The same anger that built Samuel's empire is what kept it going. Ask yourself, have you ever followed someone because he looked like success? Reposted their story, signed up for their free webinar, told a friend he's really doing it. You didn't just watch the illusion, you fed it. And that's the part where no one wants to admit. You were tricked. You wanted to believe because belief is more addictive than truth. This story was never just about Dubai or coaching or crime. It's about what we are all willing to believe just to feel like winning is still possible. The Dubai dream was never about Samuel Onuha. It was about what we projected onto him, onto the cars, the views, the watch glinting in the Dubai sun. We saw freedom, we saw proof, we saw a way out. But the cost of that illusion, it wasn't just money. It wasn't even the prison sentence, it was trust. Thousands followed him, hundreds paid him, dozens believed they were next. But when the illusions broke, they weren't left with strategies, or business plans, or insider secrets. They were left with silence, doubt, regrets. No trial date, no statement, no roadmap forward. Just a reminder that in Dubai, when the mask slips, there are no second acts. The real cost of the Dubai dream isn't measured in court documents or cocaine kilos or cancelled coaching funnels. It's measured in what happens to everyone else after the story ends. The students who doubt every mentor now, the parents who stop trusting their children's online business plan, the next Samuel who learns the wrong lessons from all of this, that selling the dream still pays better than building the truth. And you watching this right now, you've been here before. You've seen the ads, heard the speeches, scrolled past the jets and the promise of easy millions. But here's the truth. If success is only visible when it's performed, then what happens when the camera stops? Who are you following? And most importantly, what are they selling to you? In a time of universal performance, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. Samuel is not unique. He's a symptom of an influencer culture built on illusions. Right now, someone else is selling you dreams. Behind every viral millionaire is another scheme. You think you've seen it all? Think again. Click the video right now and uncover how the forex scam is robbing millions.